everyone, welcome to our very first book review of the month of March. As you all know, our book for the month is The Introvert Entrepreneur, and this book amplifies your strength and creates success on your own terms in 10 steps. It is an essential resource for introverts who choose to follow their own entrepreneurial vision and carve out their own unique paths. So why did I pick out this book, one may ask? This book is going to help us amplify our entrepreneurial skills. I've heard of a lot of people in the platform who've been asking me to say, can you do a coaching on how to start a business or how to manage finances or how to step out and just stand out? This book is the guide for that. So today we're going to talk about one chapter, which is introversion. What does it mean to be an introvert and an entrepreneur? So I've heard a lot of people who think being an introvert is not wanting to be around people, being excluded, being isolated. No, introverts can't socialize, they can't do all these things, but that's not the case. An introvert, the difference between an introvert and an extrovert is how they work on their energy, how they get their energy and how they give their energy. That is the only difference between these two characteristics. And if you've read the book, you have read that introverts occupy about 50% of the world's population. So we are given a thought to think introverts are like the minimalists, they are like maybe 25-30% of the population, but that's not the case. Actually, most of us are actually trying to be extroverts because most rules in the game are created by people who are extroverts, but that's not the case. We have seen people like Bill Gates, we've seen people like Mark Zuckerberg, like Jeff Bezos. These are all introverts, and they have built on their strengths to be where they are today. So this book is going to help you how to be unstoppable, how to be great, how to stand out and use your weaknesses for your strengths. Because from the question and from the group, I have realized that most of us are actually introverts, and that's what even makes us good readers. As you have seen, even from the list that I've given you, all those people are introverts, all of them. So what does it mean to be an introvert entrepreneur? Most people struggle as entrepreneurs when you're an introvert because of the need of networking. You can't do business without networking. You can't do business without socializing. You can't do business without going out there, knocking on people's doors and selling your product. You can't do business without selling yourself. We get to learn more and more to say, people don't buy products, people buy from people. So when you don't have a relationship, it's hard for you to have business. So you find you may have set up a very good business, a very good plan, something you can really execute so well, but you get shocked to say, why are numbers not moving? Why are things not moving? But you need to go out there, you need to network, you need to socialize, and you need to know when to do what. So most introverts make the mistake of delegating. Delegating is good, but in its initial stage, delegating may be dangerous because the business needs a face. The business needs a personality, and the founder is the face and personality of any business as an entrepreneur. So let's talk about how do you close the communication gap when you're an introvert and you're dealing with an extroverted person. You have an extroverted client, you have an extroverted business partner. How do you bridge the gap? So firstly, when communicating, because we've seen that the major thing that breaks communication or breaks businesses is lack of communication. The way an introvert would perceive communication, they're good at reading non-verbal language, they're good at just introspecting, and they're good at just hearing people out, hearing the unsaid words. Extroverts on the other side want you to speak up. They want you to say everything as it is. And that causes a lot of gap and demarcation in terms of that sort of communication. So how do you bridge that gap? So when you're having a conversation with an extrovert, you need to be able to interrupt them when need be. An extrovert will not give you any chance to express yourself, any chance to give out your thoughts, any chance to just say anything that is bothering you. It is your duty as an introvert to just come in and just excuse yourself and speak out and say what you need to do. So extroverts, we need to understand that they speak to think. Most of the things that they talk about is not the final truth. As they are speaking, are they expressing themselves? That is them thinking, that is them rewriting the story, that is them dealing with the problem. So if we are going to be quiet and going to take up everything that an extrovert is saying as the gospel truth, then we miss out. So we need to understand that extroverts speak to think. Thirdly, we need to give feedback. After an extrovert has bombarded us with so much information and we don't know what to do with it, we need to be able to sit down and say, okay, I hear you, I hear your concerns, give them feedback. This is our stance going forth, this is what I think. Because as you're delegating, as you're thinking, as you're talking, that is how an extrovert is also thinking. Lastly, extroverts think out loud and speak louder. So it's up to you to know how to put those boundaries. It is also important for you to know what type of communication works best for you. You may be an introvert who's trying to be an extrovert, and hence you call yourself an extrovert. But how you know which one you are is by identifying how you react to traumatic events, how you react after a very busy day, how you react after a very social networking that has happened. Extroverts would rather go to a more public place to relax. Introverts would rather be home, relax, watch a movie, take a cup of tea, read a book. That's an introvert. That is them re-strategizing. So you need to identify which communication works for you. That's how you know which one you are. Sometimes we are forced because of our friends, because of our situations. We tend to do things not knowing why we're doing them, when really we are introverts or extroverts, and you need to identify which one you are. So most introverts, unfortunately, have been trying by all means to fit in, because most rules are played by extroverts. Most rules of the game are played out there by people who love social life. So you need to be in your authentic self for you to be able to be an entrepreneur. What are some of the strengths of an introvert? An introvert has so many strengths, although we think we are disadvantaged when it comes to entrepreneurship. But our strengths actually make us stand out and encourage us to be very good business people. We are self-sufficient, also we believe. We are self-reliant, we are self-possessed, and we are self-reflective. So I'm sure you have observed to say, there's a saying to say, if you want anything done, do it yourself. I assume the person who did that was an introvert, because we are self-sufficient. We're able to do things by ourselves, and we're able to do things the way we want them to be. That is a strength in business. So we are self-reliant. We can rely on ourselves. We can count on ourselves. We can count on how we are grounded and how we are content and how we stick to our words. That makes us self-reliant, unlike delegating and depending on other people. That is a strength, in as much as it can be seen as a downfall. But if you utilize its positivity and build on that, that is a very, very good strength. So we are also self-reflective. That means we spend so much time in our head, we spend so much time dealing with problems in our head and not just bombarding it on people, not just going on social media and talking about things that are not really necessary. We spend so much time in our head, we are solving problems, we are thinking through things, we are wondering how we can be better people, how we can do things better. That is a very big strength, because in business, not every secret needs to be shared. There's some things that are just private and are just between you and your partner, your business partner, or just between you and your God if you're sole proprietary. So that is a strength. When you are exposed to so much information, you never know who you're telling. You may be telling a competitor, you may be telling someone who's able to use that information against you. So when you're self-reflective and you're able to keep things to yourself and just think through things, that is a very, very good strength. So we go to challenges and consideration of an introvert entrepreneur. So one thing that we need to do is to find our voice. The meaning of life is to reclaim our truth. We need to find our voice. Just because you're an introvert and you prefer being self-reflective and you prefer being in your thoughts, in your heart, in your mind, just there in your own room, away from the world, that should not deprive you of the very good challenge of of finding your own voice. You need to be able to express yourself. People should know you for your word. They should know your voice. When you speak up, they should say, yes, we know this voice. When we say your voice, we're not talking about your physical voice. We're talking about what you stand for, what are your values. People should be able to say, okay, for Mono in business, she doesn't like this, she can't tolerate this. If it's maybe when it comes to if it's how you spend your money, or she can't do away with her integrity, she can't do it with people who are thieves or people who are dubious in any means. That's my voice. People are supposed to know my voice. I'm not supposed to just keep being an introvert and keeping my things to myself. I'm supposed to be able to talk so people can know my voice. Another thing is networking. We know that networking is very, very important, and we need that for every business success, as we have mentioned. So we need to be able to use that very last energy that we have and just be there and just try by all means to just talk to people. Make it your aim maybe to talk to maybe 2 or 3 people, new people, maybe every week or every 2 weeks, just for you to just express your business or just share your idea. Networking is very, very important. So that's one thing that we need to challenge ourselves to do. We also need to be very assertive when it comes to self-promotion. Only you can sell yourself better. You can't rely on people. You can't rely on your business to sell you. You can't rely on your friends to sell you, your family members to sell you. You need to rely on yourself, self-promotion. Most of us actually see it as being narcissistic or being self-loathing, but that's not it. You're just being there and just talking about who you are and what you can do, which is very important. Extroverts are very good at this, and that is why most of them tend to get better job opportunities, better positions, and that leaves us, most of us, in entrepreneurship because we are not so good at self-promotion. But if you want to grow, if you want to elevate, if you want to develop more, you need to be very deliberate on that, on the self-promotion. So I actually challenge you, next week when we meet, I want you to at least tell me you did a sale of yourself. Be it if you're just good at, it can be just as good as I'm good with IT things, I'm good with typing, I'm good with organizing, I'm good with management. Just sell yourself and sell yourself to the right prospective buyer, yeah? So we also need to learn how to manage our energy. As you know that for us, we easily get depleted. Our energy is more refilled when we are in isolation, when we are closed up, when we are reading, when we are thinking. So we need to know how to manage our energy. Managing our energy means we should know when to reserve what. When we are going for a network, you're able to reserve some energy just for that. You're able to reserve some energy just for self-promotion. You're able to reserve some energy just for a social outing. Know how to manage your time. Know how to manage your energy. That is very, very key for an introvert, lest you burn out. That is not what we want out of you. And lastly, we need to know how to collaborate. Collaboration is extremely important. When I started my entrepreneurship journey, I used to think I can do it all. I used to think I am equipped for it all. But collaboration is really important. It has really helped me find people who actually complement my weaknesses, people who are actually more financially disciplined than I am, people who have walked the path that I'm trying to take. So it is very important to find out who are those people you can collaborate with in whatever business you're trying to do. Find those people and make that collaboration. It is extremely, extremely important as you go forward. So this is our book review of chapter 1. Next week, we're going to talk about chapter 2, 3, and 4. So keep reading, and if you have any questions, any concerns, if you need clarity on anything, let's communicate. Let's drop everything in the platform that has been provided. All right. Thank you and goodbye.